Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy Darien. We back with another video, man. Today, we're watching JxmyHighroller. And this is a video about the NBA playoffs, man. Hey, if you haven't seen my playoff prediction video, go check it out. I'm gonna leave a card up here. You know, like the little card thing where you click for the videos. But anyways, man, I'm gonna leave the card up there. Click my playoff prediction video, man. I'm gonna just leave it at that, man. That's a good video, but yeah. Watching JxmyHighroller, the NBA playoffs are completely unpredictable. Let's see, man.
Over the last 2 NBA seasons, I have made a prediction on who I think will win the NBA title, and I use strictly numbers and potentially predictive metrics to narrow down my decisions. Overall, I think my predictions went all right. In 2022, I chose the Celtics to win it all, and they came within 2 games of doing just that. Last season, I chose the Celtics again, and if it weren't for the Heat being the greatest 8 seed ever assembled, that might have panned out as well. So this season, I considered...
Bro, why the Heat, man? If they didn't injure Jason Tatum in the first 3 minutes of Game 7, bro, I promise you, the Celtics would have been the first team to come back down 3-0.
Predicting the eventual NBA champs once again. By the way, I think it's going to be the Nuggets. But as fun as these experiments are, the reality is numbers will never get you all the way to the correct conclusion, no matter how many metrics you factor in. The game is just too unpredictable. And just a week into the NBA playoffs, we all got a jarring reminder of just how unpredictable it can be. But Game 2 of the Lakers-Nuggets series in particular really cool.
Bro, what y'all think about the Pacers beating the Bucks, bro? I honestly did not see that coming. The Pacers beating the Bucks? I thought that was a regular season team. The in-season tournament team is actually carrying some weight in the playoffs.
Of ever being able to pin down any sort of coherent prediction. After being down 20 points in the 3rd quarter, the Nuggets crawled back and completed one of the largest comebacks in playoff history. Jokic is nearly perfect as usual to close out the game. Jamal Murray summoned his inner prime Michael Jordan for the millionth time to put a dagger in the hearts of Lakers fans, and we were all stunned. But why did this comeback feel inevitable? The Nuggets were dead in the water at one point in this game, and yet I never felt like they were completely out of it. In no universe.
Nah, that is facts though. When I was watching that game, bro, it's like I don't know what it is about the Nuggets, but whenever they're down, bro, it's like it never feels like they actually lost the game. Like it's weird. It's weird with the Nuggets. So I don't know, like, because Jamal Murray literally played terrible the whole game. But then in that last like 3 minutes, he hit like four shots, and then they win the game somehow. So it's just like I don't get how they do that. I think that's more on the Lakers selling and not on the Nuggets doing something special. Honestly,
should a Miami Heat team without Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier beat a 64-win Celtics team by double digits? And yet, was this game really all that surprising? Has the NBA, and specifically the playoffs, become more unpredictable than ever before? In the past, it always felt like there were teams who skated past the first round, teams that seemed to be levitating above others on their way to the conference finals. But in today's NBA, all bets are off. Any team can win at any moment, regular season performance becoming more and more irrelevant to postseason success. But why is this? Here's a relatively normal win probability chart. The line starts in the middle, where both teams have a 50-50 chance of winning. The closer the line gets to the top or the bottom, the better one of the team's chances of winning becomes. In this game, the Bucks took an early lead and held on to it until the end of the game. This is normal. Game 2 of the Sixers-Knicks series was not.
What happens? The bitch just shoot all the way up. Sheesh. It didn't went all the way up. Nah, that game was actually crazy though, cause like they was down what? They was down like 8 with like a minute left or something. It was something crazy like that, bro. They was down 8 with like a minute left, and they somehow won the game, bro. It was like, hey man, playoffs actually is pretty crazy. Unpredictable, as he would say. Nah, this game was crazy though.
The NBA is a volatile, unpredictable league, and there is a big reason why. Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. The on tweet the best get using it still safe in the NBA today. Is any lead safe in the NBA today? 10 points isn't nearly enough of a cushion. A 20-point win is considered a blowout by any metric, and yet as long as there's time left on the clock, a 20-point lead can be chipped away relatively quickly in the NBA today. The Nuggets overcoming a 20-point deficit in Game 2 against the Lakers was remarkable. But you know what's even crazier? With a minute and 15 seconds left in this game, the Nuggets had 92 points. They ended the game with 101. That's 9 points in 76 seconds to close out.
I did not. How did they win this game, bro? This series should be like the Lakers should have 2 wins, bro. They should have 2 wins at least, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They should have 2 wins.
According to Inpredictables.com win probability model, the Nuggets had just an 18% chance of winning this game with a minute and 27 seconds left in the fourth. Even crazier, a more unlikely comeback happened on the same exact night. Take a look at the clock. There's just 30 seconds left in this game. The Knicks have 96 points. When the clock hit 0, they had 104. The Knicks scored 8 points in just 28 seconds to clinch a playoff win. You cannot predict this. There's no metric that will see this coming. There's no game plan or scheme to prevent this. The Knicks had just a 1.7% chance of winning.
A 1% chance of winning? Bruh, imagine. They sold, bro.
With 47 seconds left on the clock. A couple three-pointers and free throws later, and those chances were all but irrelevant. And even when games don't come down to the wire like this, they are still completely unpredictable. In Game 2 of the Celtics Heat series, Boston was favored by 15 points going into this game.
Nah, bro, I had seen a spread, and like, I think if you picked the Celtics to win, it was like negative 50,000. It was like negative 50,000 or some shit. Like, you see like this Heat Celtics money line, bro. I don't know if it was Photoshop or something, but that shit said negative 50,000, bro. I was like, yo, what?
They lost by 10 points. One of the best regular season teams in NBA history lost to a team missing 2 of their starters at home by double digits. The NBA is as volatile and unpredictable as it's ever been. Inpredictable.com's win probability model not only gives a play-by-play breakdown of how likely a team is to win or lose, it then uses this data to identify the most statistically unlikely comebacks throughout NBA history. Given a point deficit, time remaining, and ball possession,
I never heard of this website.
Metric shows how likely a team was to win or lose based on how other teams have fared in that exact scenario over the past 10 years. A comeback score of 50 would be considered highly unlikely. This Knicks win over the 76ers in Game 2 had a comeback score of 56.8. Now, here's a chart of every game that featured one of these highly unlikely comebacks from year to year, dating back to the 1997 season. For many years, these comebacks were limited to 10, maybe 20 a season.
But it's just way more comebacks now recently. Yeah, look at this. look at when Jordan was playing. That's sad. If Jordan was winning, I mean, he won the game regardless. But look at this. This is 1999, bro. This must have been one of the worst years for basketball. That shit's crazy.
The number of crazy comebacks continues to climb, with the most in a single season coming this year with 32. As pace continues to increase in the NBA and teams incorporate more three-pointers into their game plan, the outcome of these games has gotten more and more unpredictable. The NBA has always been a make or miss league, but as offenses have become more potent, so has the potential for comebacks, upsets, and unforeseen results. In any given NBA game, there are 4 statistics, known as the 4 factors, that have the highest correlation to winning basketball games. How well a team shoots the ball, turnovers, offensive rebounds, and how often a team is getting to the line. How well a team does in these 4 factors will usually determine the outcome of a game. But in today's NBA, most games boil down to just one factor. Here's a chart of how often teams won a playoff game over the years when they made more three-pointers than the opposing team. Over the last 3 post.
You know what this tells me right here? That Missoula is the greatest coach of all time. I'm just trolling, but look. But like seriously though, like his philosophy has been to shoot as many threes as possible. I think the Celtics average like what? I think they shoot like 45 threes a game. Or something nuts. Like they shoot like 40 threes a game. And like I've seen something that if they make like over 20, or they make like over like 18 or something, then they usually win. They win like 80% of the time. They make like 19 threes or above or something like. It's something like that. I don't know the exact stats.
When a team makes more threes than
the more threes you hit, the more you win.
Winning the game over
Curry changed everything.
70% of the time, peaking in this year's playoffs, where teams that make more threes than the opposing team have won the game 81% of the time. More than rebounding, more than getting to the line, it's simply making or missing threes that have become the overwhelming factor that is deciding these games. When compared to the traditional 4 factors, making more threes than the opposing team is actually a better indicator of which team will win the game than any other metric right now. And you might be thinking, well, of course the team that hits more threes wins the game the majority of the time. But this wasn't always the case. In fact, in the past, hitting more threes had almost no correlation to whether a team was going to win or not. From 1990 to 1994, when a team made more threes than their opponent, they won about 45% of the time. So not only were
what's the difference now?
Teams that relied more on three-pointers actually performed worse than other teams. From 2010 to 2014, the win rate for teams that hit more threes than their opponent in the playoffs jumped to about 55%. So just a decade ago, making more threes gave teams a slight edge over their opponent, but it was still just one of many variables that would determine the outcome of a game. In the past, three-pointers were viewed as almost a home run, a game breaker, even if the shot was a good open look. Teams didn't take a lot, and they didn't make a lot. But over the last decade, the shot has not only become the focal point for many offenses, it has become the deciding factor in the majority of these playoff games. How many games have you watched where your team gets out to a 10, 15, even 20-point lead and
bro, no, ask me this question, bro, countless of times, bro. What? Countless of times, bro. The Celtics are known for blowing leads, bro. If y'all didn't know, I'm a Celtics fan, obviously, but you know, I said this in multiple of my basketball videos, but like, I don't know, maybe this is your first time watching me, but bro, the Celtics are known for blowing leads, and I've seen countless leads blown, and I'm the first person to tell you that no lead is safe. No lead is safe at all.
Despite a massive cushion, they still can't relax, knowing that all it would take is a few long bombs to shift the momentum and turn the game around. These long bombs used to be improbable. Get yourself a double-digit lead and holding on to it late in a game was relatively manageable. But now, a 15-point lead in the NBA is nothing. Teams can close that gap in the blink of an eye. In 2012,
15-point leads, 5 3-point shots.
The Miami Heat won a playoff game without making a single three-pointer. In those same playoffs, the Grizzlies had a game where they didn't make a single three and beat the Lob City Clippers by double digits. Here's a series in 2012 where the Jazz hit 9 threes throughout the entire series. Go back even further and you'll see shooting volatility and the reliance on three-pointers dip even further. In 1994, the Celtics and Hornets combined for 13 made three-pointers.
13 threes the whole series. Bro, and that's literally Dale Curry too, bro. Dale Curry only shot 11 the whole series. This is one game for Steph Curry.
The Miami Heat
Steph Curry would take like 15 threes
in one half of a single game. Three-pointers are a high-variance shot inherently. High risk, high reward. When a team is only shooting 10 of them a game, this variance plays a marginal role on the outcome. The result of the game is a bit more expected. But when teams are shooting 35, 40 threes a game and hitting half of them, the game isn't just affected by these shots, the entire game hinges on the outcome of these shots. A team can miss a handful of shots and find themselves on the bad end of a 15-point run, and then flip the script, hit a handful of threes themselves, and seemingly out of nowhere, they have the lead. In their first 3 games against the Nuggets, the Lakers have held a double-digit lead at some point in the game. And yet, when watching these games, the score might as well be tied with how explosive the Nuggets' offense is. And this volatility has seen a spike in the postseason in comparison to the regular season this year. Usually in the postseason, teams score less than they do in the regular season. The game slows down, teams have an entire series to prep for the opposing team's schemes and sets. Scoring gets more difficult. But over the last few seasons, this discrepancy from regular season performance to playoff performance has only grown larger. Between an increase in games missed from key players, injuries going into the playoffs, and the previous mentioned variance in shooting and scoring, a team doing well in the regular season has become more and more non-predictive of how they will do in the playoffs. Over the last 20 seasons, on average, teams are scoring about 3 to 4 less points in playoff games.
That's it? What was it before? 5. I mean, no, it's still about the same that it was 20 years ago. Like the point difference. So I don't get. Oh, so he ain't showed 2024 yet.
Games than they do in regular season games. So far in the 2024 playoffs, the league is averaging
10 less points. Damn. And I'm thinking these games high scoring. They usually they have been going to like 101, like 100. They haven't been like above 110 usually. But they have been like in the hundreds, but still though, like that means what's the point different in the regular season though in 2024? So that means it's like what, like they usually score like 125 points or something like that. Like
0.5 less points scored per game than they did in the regular season. That is an unprecedented gap.
10. That's
this
literally
like,
that's probably the most
shows
ever.
Just how disconnected the regular season has gotten from the playoffs. This has always been the case, but it is far more prevalent now than ever before. Here's a moment in Game 2 of the Bucks-Pacers series. With less than 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Pacers had a 4-point lead on the Bucks. That's a one-possession game. 5 minutes and 23 seconds later, the Pacers were up by 23 points. Here's Game 1 of the Suns T-Wolves series where the Suns were down 15 points with about 10 minutes left in the fourth. Within 2 minutes of game time, they were down by 25. Game 1, Heat versus Celtics. With 3:32 left in the third quarter, the Heat were down 17. A lot, but still very manageable. 3 minutes later, the Heat were losing by 32 points. These kinds of scoring outbursts are happening all the time now, and they end up being the deciding factor of these games more and more often. Andrew Lopez of ESPN wrote a great article on this in March of this year.
20 is the old 12.
Scoring variance the league has seen over the last.
Nah, this is facts though. Like with the amount of three, like bro, 3 threes. If you hit 3 threes in a row, 3 possessions, that's literally 9 points. So that's like half of your 20-point lead gone already. Like, and that can take you. Say you hit a 3, and then you do a whole 24 defense. So that's what. Let's just say that's what 48 seconds, and then you get a steal. So like in under a minute, you can score 10 points with ease, bro. Which is like that's the real reason.
And how some players and coaches are reacting to these scoring explosions. Victor Wembanyama said during his time in the NBA so far, he's learned a 20-point lead is nothing. Minnesota head coach Chris Finch was also quoted saying, "You see a lot of unpredictable results regardless of the point differential and the margins of the score. Like, wow, how that team beat that team. And then you look at the column and they made 22 threes. There was a time where you weren't taking 20 threes in a game. It's all down to that." But the most eye-opening part about this article was this stat. When Steve Kerr began his tenure with Golden State, the Warriors strung together 114 consecutive wins when holding a lead of at least 15 points. Now, the longest active streak when taking a 15-point lead is just 35.
Damn.
No lead is safe, and any team can win at any time.
114 games in a row, though.
I heard a really
I hate
good
the Warriors
analogy about how scoring volatility has altered the NBA, and it's probably the simplest way to understand exactly what's going on in these games. You ever play Mario Kart? Yeah, the racing game for children. Well, in that game, whenever you get out to a massive lead, the game will artificially speed up the AI racers so they can catch up to you and make the race more competitive. And if you fall behind, the AI racers will slow down so you can catch up. This is a mechanism built into the game called rubber banding. The mechanism exists so if you're really good at the game, it still remains challenging. And if you're not so good at the game, you still have a chance to win. No matter the gap between you and the other racers, the game will close it and make the races competitive. Scoring variance, 3-point volatility, and shot making has triggered this rubber banding in the NBA. When a team jumps ahead by too much, the other team comes racing back. Got a team that is the deepest, most talented team in the league? Yeah, well, we have 3-pointers, and we know how to use them. Just went on a hot streak, hit a bunch of shots, got out to a lead. That's alright, you'll eventually get cold and we'll hit an improbable amount of 3-pointers in a row to close the gap. A team can meet all the prerequisites to be a title contender. They could check all the boxes that past champions checked off. They could be the clear favorite in any given series. And still, the NBA is as unpredictable as ever, where no lead is safe and no team is safe.
Alright, man. W video, W Jimmy. From this video, I picked up is that, like, the playoffs are so unpredictable just because everybody spams threes. Basically, that's the gist I got of it, is everybody spams threes so much and they're so good at shooting. It's just like, you can't possibly be safe at all just because, you know, like, you could go cold and they can be hot, and, you know, vice versa. It's like, you know, the 3-ball is so effective that, like, it just depends on who's hitting shots that day, really. So, yeah, man. W video, Jimmy. Shout out y'all for watching. Thank you for watching. Follow Twitter, TikTok. Clicking in the videos on the screen if you enjoyed. And, yeah, man. I'm going to see y'all later. Peace.